Hello from me, David at Painter and Decorator York. Now this video is about how you actually find a painter and decorator in York, in London, in Manchester, in Leeds, wherever you may be. You've got to find yourself a decorator, and a good one. How do you do this? Well, I'm going to go over some of the ways in which you look and find that perfect painter and decorator for your home. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so I know this may be a little bit controversial in parts and not liked by many, but this is the facts as I understand them and have come across them and know. So, the main places you would look. Obviously, the first place, a lot of people, not everybody, they look at Google in the search engines. You know, you put your search in for best painter near me and all the rest of it, and it will come up a list of them. And there's some within there in this what they call like the Google business listings or Google Maps there, and you'll get the ones listed there. The big problem I have with this is they can be manipulated so much. We're not actually even on them. I've got a bit of a problem with them, with how they operate. I know there's a company in York that are actually in Newcastle, but they're always in the listings there for York because they're manipulating the system. And it's no doubt it does go on in other areas. So yeah, okay, it's got some of the good ones. I'm not saying they're all bad on there. There's some good decorators. None of the testimonials are verified. So if you get all your friends, family and all the rest of it, and this does happen, they'll write you lovely reviews, 5 stars. Oh, this must be a good one. Yeah, okay. So that's my little gripe about the Google things. If you look in the organic, where we like to be, we do a nice website, we want to give you plenty of information, then you'll see some that are obviously working hard at the business, and trying to give good information, not just give me a business, give me your money, which is all well and good, but you've got to be decent. Now the other area, and this is where we like to, what we're wanting to do here is really on the YouTube channel. I'm wanting to really give information for DIYers, because in these times there's a lot that are struggling financially. So, if I can start putting out some videos to help and simplify them. I see some of the ones from painters and they're out there trying to impress themselves and the family. But, if we're not in an industry or a type of business that we know everything about, if you're a painter and decorator, if you explain to me how to put an engine in a car, where would you start? You wouldn't have a clue. And a mechanic would, but if you had to ask the mechanic, what's the best paint to use for a ceiling? How do you cut in without getting ridges in your paint and all the rest of it? He would be perplexed. So it's important to be able to explain these things properly, and this is what the YouTube channel is about. Now, I've nattered on a long time about this. So back to how you find your painter and decorator in York or wherever it may be. There's all the other social places like Facebook. There's a lot on Facebook there, and again, I'm not saying that they're all bad in these places. There's some good ones. We've got a Facebook page, I think. Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have for the kitchen cupboard painters as well. We have a separate one for that, and yeah, you can connect with the local people, and that's quite good. But it's just one area. Now, this is something where all these places, I'm not saying they're all aimed at younger people, but certainly Facebook now, it's probably used by more of the older generation than the younger generation. But when you look at all these social media places, people in their, late 70s into 80s plus, I'm not saying none of them will be using, some do, but it wouldn't be the first port of call to look for a painter and decorator. What tends to happen is, and this is why these local advertisement magazines are quite good, the monthly ones that go out, because it gives people the option, certainly the older generation, to have a look through and see all the various ones. Now, a decent publication will stop if they get a bad advertiser, someone who really is out there just to rip people off. I know, because I reported one and they were dropped from that magazine. They weren't allowed to advertise anymore. So it's good. So some of them are pretty good. Some of them are, they're not bothered. If you pay your money for an advertisement, you can put any old rubbish out there. So I think they're a decent place to look for a local advertiser. If they've been in for any number of years or even months or what have you, then, you know, they may be the ones to go to. Now, probably, I would say this is the most reliable source, is your family and your friends. But I'll put a little add-on to this is, you know, if you ask your friend, oh yeah, we had this done, okay, great, oh, we'll ring them, we'll get them. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. They might be absolutely hopeless now, because I tell you, people do change with how they work. So, you know, it needs to be somebody recently who's done some work for somebody where they've been really pleased. If they say, these are great, they turn up on time, where they say they're going to give you a quote, they do, they keep your house clean, they're really mindful of and respectful of what they're doing, they're in your home, then that's great, you know. Right, so that's some good places. Now, this is my really pet hate. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Like I say, you should always have a cup of coffee. And you should be always making one for your painter and decorator. And any of the trades, to be fair, make him a cup of coffee, a bacon sandwich, even better. Wow. In the afternoon, a little bit of cake. Goes down lovely. Okay, right. My pet hate, directories. Oh, God, this just drives me mad. Right, I'm going to say, there's lots of directories out there. You know, the main one that you see is Checker Trade and the yellow one and all that, Trusted Trade. There's lots of them, and there's some others that, you know, anybody can put the name in for nothing. It's a free listing and they're a bit of a nonsense. Right, my big gripe with these, it's really a bit like Google. But I think even worse. To get a listing in these ones that check you out, yes, they may ask for some sort of recommendations or some look into your previous customers. Not always, but if you pay a larger amount of money per month, you will get a higher listing. Now, is that really the way to, you know, pick somebody who's paid more to be at the top? Because a bigger group or a bigger company may be able to pay a lot more. It doesn't mean to say that they're going to do a better job. And I see this all the time with the these listings. You think, I know they're a terrible painter and decorator. They're absolutely appalling. But they're right up there in a certain directory, obviously getting work, and I don't know how they wangle it, but they do, because the people always come up with the underhand way. I don't believe they're getting these great reviews because they're atrocious, absolutely atrocious at what they do. But that's another place to go to, but I would stay clear personally, but everybody's got their own take on that. Okay, so they're just a few of the places. The other is really, I always say, I've got a lot of work like this, where you're working at a house and they see you in and out, and you know, they see you for quite some time, and they'll come over and ask you, so, what are you doing? What are you doing? Paintbrush. Yes, painter and decorator, I'm doing the kitchen or whatever. I would say to anybody, don't ask them directly. When they've gone, don't ask them when they're there. When the painter and decorator has gone, ask the person, your neighbour, near neighbour, how they're getting on, what they're like, how do they work, blah, blah. You know, if they say, oh, absolute nightmare, obviously you stay clear, because, you know, they're there and you get it first hand. But if they say, great, I think you won't go far wrong with that. You know, I really don't. You know, if somebody's been working there, I work in a certain village. Once I couldn't get out of this village because they were just like passing me on and on and on. And to say, it only takes one, especially in small communities. You do one bad job, you won't get any more work around. If you do a good job, you can do a good job over and over again. So that's why I always say it's worth doing. Now, they're just a few of the places to look at, but There's another one, and this is to really wrap it up, because I think I've put it on quite a long time today. Again, I do, yeah. Okay, so when somebody comes round to give you a quotation, not estimate, quotation, you get a feel for people. You should get a feel for people, you know, that, you know, what's this person like? What are they like when you're interacting with them? Do they fill you with confidence that they can do the job? Don't get me wrong, there's some that can talk and, you know, talk BS. But, you know, if you get a good feeling about them, that's not a bad start. If you're thinking, oh, crikey, these are terrible, but they've given a cheap quote and all the rest of it, stay clear, because imagine you haven't enjoyed that 20, 30 minutes, however long they've been there quoting. Imagine spending 2 weeks with them in your house, because I tell you, it will only get worse. So on that lovely note, thank you for watching, and I do have some DIY videos coming up that will give you, you know, the DIYers a better understanding of how to do some of the simple things. And painting is simple, it really is a simple trade to learn. So I'm going to show you some of those coming up shortly. So we're nearly finished with all these, me having a rant about things anyway. So thank you for watching from me, David, at Painter and Decorator York. I look forward to seeing you again in another video soon. Okay, bye for now.